It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right. It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. You know I heard them say life much better you live it your own way.
Happy New Year, Happy New Year. If you're tuned into Reggae Global Radio, what a guan to the people on TikTok. You know it, go already. Top up the screen, share the live, holler at me if you're feeling the vibe, yeah. And to the people, them like send me the liquor lion. It's 2026, you can keep it, yeah. Yeah, we ain't playing. And all of you on YouTube, big up yourself and Happy New Year. So naturally, here's how it go now. It's 2026, it's the year of the horse. And let me tell you something. You can expect the best, hope for the best, expect the worst. That's generally what people say, but I'm gonna say to you that we expect the best because we're working towards the best. And that's B, that's capital. MCs want to copy my style. Better back up before you get smacked up. Cop up and go tell mommy that I lacked up, you, and your whole crew. What you gonna do to me? ISAT, you follow me? There's going to be some. Anyway, yeah, you get it. The worst is non-existent. That's. I'm starting there to say that. As we hope for the best, work towards the best, the worst doesn't factor into anything that we're doing in this life. So if you agree with me, you can say amen. Yeah. But they basically there's many things. You know, they there's so much to say. There's so much that we don't say, but in my mind, somebody you would have to tell me if this fan is annoying, but yeah, if I see it, yeah, so sorry for the loss of your beloved comrade, Miss Paulette. Yeah, untimely passing. This is the first show that I'm having, so I haven't even addressed that yet. But we lost a lot of persons in 2025 that I can tell you was untimely. But you know, I say God on time, so I can't even say untimely because God knows best. But I do know it was Sunday, even though it's last year. You know, we're gonna play on that 2025. I went to three funerals on Sunday last year. It was very humbling because the people who died are people who left an impact on the lives of the people in the communities that they came from. They were all important, and you know, it was important to show up because of how they impacted my life in a short time. And always when I speak of God on time, there's just this reality that there's so many expectations from the space that you go into, and the reality is because everything happens in God's time. That's why it's God on time. And although life is time plus chance created, nothing's not going to happen unless God wants it to happen. I give the devil no credit. In fact, I think that the things that happen, it happened so God can expose people, um, places, and anything that's in the dark, it must come to light. So we know and appreciate all these concepts are nothing new, and we understand it and we appreciate it. That's just how I see it. So to all the great ones that we would have lost in 2025, I can tell you that we still have to live life, push forward, and look forward to just an amazing 2026 and beyond. It's the time when persons have to realize, and when I say persons, I'm making reference to people. There are people that don't realize that they're people, but they will catch up in time. But that life is really, really, really serious, especially for what we want for the future of the generations that follow in any country that you're in. But I specifically always speak about Jamaica and blessings 876 Yardi. Big up yourself. For saying you're a fan. Yeah, and we have to come to terms with what is our reality, and that's really what it is. As we hope for the best, we have to know where our reality is. It's the same thing. You can't run a business without appreciating your customers, and that would mean that the people who work for you, the type of customer service that they give will determine how people feel about your establishment. Also, internally, you know, when you're when there are people who sit with your enemies, they cannot be your friend. That's just my take. That's just how I feel. Um, there's always this thing about knowing your place, knowing your purpose, but most importantly, waiting your turn. Your turn, only God can determine that. So I'm not in no way here to say to anybody it's not your turn. I would never do that, because I can tell you this: if you leave it to man to determine when it's your turn may never come, because people have self-interest. What I will say though is that you anchor your expectations on God. And I will be preaching that right through from now till thy kingdom come. Right? A very, very, very important. Once people understand that. And this is 2026. There are many spaces that you can be in. So let's set the stage now. In 2026, you don't have to come onto YouTube or TikTok or Reggae Global Radio with your negativity. We understand that nothing is happening in your life. I'm specifically now talking to it's not even a real person, but if nothing is going on in your life and you need to come on to context matters, it's 2026. If you don't figure out yet that you can't troll me, Isaac Buchanan, I don't know how you're gonna proceed with your life, especially when we're talking about progress, when we're talking about the real issues as it affects the people around you. Like, for instance, Jamaica now has a homeless problem. Jamaica has food insecurity. Jamaica has is in a crisis, an identity crisis. Two Jamaicas that exist at the same time. Selective prosecution, selective charges, if you will. Even the determination of life, the right to life. There are persons who decide and determine, not God, but persons who decide whether you should live or die in this country. I'm not saying it's not happening in other countries, but that is the reality. Um, and the social media narrative is also a reality. The narrative where people, I mean, I don't need to talk about it on context matters, but when you look who the persons, somebody said bail on Saturday and Sunday. Yes, if you're from the affluent, bail can happen at midnight. You understand? And they'll charge you in a particular manner to ensure that you get bail in keeping with the Bail Act, so that you don't have to go before a judge who may not give you bail. But we're not gonna use the platform context matters to throw word on people, because I believe that when your jail system, the lockups and the prison system is not fit for human existence, it cannot host human beings. Bail is as of right in the Constitution and is something that they should give. And I think it's a total breach of the Constitution to know that the prison system, um, even for appellants, persons convicted, but they can't even get the transcripts ready, that they should be given bail because they're appellants. And if anything you learn from Isaac Buchanan, if nowhere else, is that it's not over until the Privy Council sing. So convictions are not final until the final court, whether it be the Jamaican Court of Appeal and no further appeal, or until the appeal goes to the Privy Council and you can't appeal no more. That is when you start to spew the nasty narrative that is a part of the Jamaican culture lately. But all I will say is, you know, we, those who are loose with their tongues and like to spit vitriol, and mind you, the people who spit vitriol and are very disgusting on the internet, they don't have jobs that they can use. They're not regulated. It's been years, but I can tell you, when you have nothing to lose, you can say whatever you want on the internet. Even when you're right, when you have something to lose, cancel culture, which don't really work much these days, but people only bring down people when they're up. So one wonders the irony. I don't need to get into this. Its context matters, but the most entertaining space right now is the dancehall space. It must be very pressuring to be a dancehall artist at this time in Jamaica's dancehall culture. Um, Whoever had coined the word skettle knew what they were saying when they were talking about skettle and montel, because the tracing is real, and the ability to tear down people in the spaces. I mean, just know that words are sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. Only if your back is broad, because it's not everybody can rise above um, the slewing and the throwing of words and statements made, even if it's not true, just because them tracing and just because they want to bring down the image of persons in the public eye. And I will say this, remember, as descendants of Africans, we're all kings. And because the culture is a tribalist culture, it only means that there are multiple kings. And the king of the day will not be the king tomorrow, and no one lives forever. So there has to be succession. Those who are vying to be king must actually have the talent to be that. But you also ought not to suppress. And then the court gestures, whether, I'm not throwing any word, because I have noted lately that when you speak generally, There are persons whose lives are so empty that the people around them will try to fit them into your narrative to say that you are talking about them. But no, you're not so important that would cause me to need to talk about you. I'll just put it that way. Um, but just to use the space to say that we have to look about upliftment and positivity. We have to look about brand Jamaica. We have to look about improving the spaces, preserving the culture, preserving the heritage, understanding the environment, understand that the competition could never be Jamaicans competing against Jamaicans is ludicrous. The only competition that is by virtue of the industry or the space that you're in. But you cannot use social media to dictate, like you can't, social media can't dictate talent. Social media can't dictate quality. It's all just, especially, and that's just for anything. But also when it comes to education, social media can dictate education. In this day and age, not even if you buy a degree from any university, can that dictate intellect. If you dunce, you just dunce. If you fool, you just fool. And you do have educated fools, you do have dummies, you do have persons who are simply don't have the aptitude for particular things. There's also an assumption that because people have education that it makes them bright. That is not true. I mean, if you follow the critique, me don't, me fully don't, me no have no education. I heard a most erudite counsel referred to my parents as pigs, said I must have been raised by pigs and don't have no brought up see. But they can say that because they're of white skin, so they can do that. But you know, it's selective. There are people who can be abusive to you, and if you defend yourself, you as a descendant of a slave, how dare you try to stand up for yourself and use freedom of expression? And the reality is this: when it comes to freedom of expression, it's like the drunko, them fly and them pitch and them eat the dead carcasses, but they don't speak. The parrots, they speak, and as soon as you can speak, people say, "Oh, how adorable," and they put you in a cage. So the drunker says to the parrot, "Why are you in a cage?" And the parrot says, "Simple, because I can speak." So you see, when you speak up, there is incarceration that comes with it. So everybody fights for freedom of expression, but at the same time, there is suppression and oppression. So regulated speech is actually not freedom of expression. Also, to whom much is given, much is expected. So when you get the benefit of freedom of expression, when you come and you just spit vitriol and negativity, none of those things are progressive. And so you can't even knock somebody when they said, "Oh, you must regulate speech." You can't even be upset when people say that they have to set examples because persons are speaking out of turn. But you see, when it's selective and hypocritical, then you have to stop and say things that make you go, that's the first thing you have to do. You have to stop and say, um, it's too early for me to run on the bed. Woo. So yeah, but you see, you can't even watch that because the reality is, only apart from the almost 300 people that was murdered extrajudicially, you are just one person I've ever seen them go under them bed and take them out and charge them. So I mean, you could be in Trinidad and you disrespect the Prime Minister and they charge you as a woman and deal with you. You know, these days, people are regulated like ships in the Caribbean. As soon as you say something, rat tat tat tat. So what the problem with that is the time people spend regulating speech, because it's a simple thing, you know, on social media. When people say things and it's not to your liking, you just block them because it's in the social space. It's all it's and here's the reality in Jamaica. Persons are so concerned about image and reputation, and the reality is that them life empty, them not no God, them not no substance, they don't have nothing, there's nothing genuinely affluent about them. Certainly society and the structure of all societies, there is some genetic transference of opulence, of affluence. Rex Nettiford said a butu in a Benz is still a butu. Possibly why I drive a Benz. Yes, it's very possible. And even then, if you call me a butu, you're not. I'm not offended. I'm not as a son of a ghetto youth, my big youth son. You know, you think in which life which life a butu calling me a butu could make me feel bad? In which life a dirty drunker calling me a dirty drunker could make me feel bad? And it don't matter. I look at it and I have assessed it. You know, while it is that education is the great liberator, people must not forget where they come from, which is why I always have the greatest respect. There are women in my constituency, big up Portland Eastern, who they sell in the market, and some of them, they will do a cleaning work here and there, but when Christmas come, them gone. And them son is the pilot, and them gone stay with them daughter who is the brain surgeon, and them proud of them lawyer son, and them proud of the other son that is an engineer, and everybody is doing good. So now, which dirty drunker can style that woman when her issue, her children are raised well and educated? The only advice I can give is that they must not forget where they come from, and they must strengthen and improve the spaces so that the genetic transference of the lived experience is greater and better than that which was before. But again, people with no moral compass, you could give $75 million more to the church. That's not fixing any moral compass. And I am not going to, I have nothing to say about the $75 million given to the church, except when the church, them in a Portland, say they want the upgrade and the fixment. I hope those in government who are in Portland can run the money rather than just give it all to JPS. Give some to the church down there, since money are given to the church. Because church roof want fixed too. Yeah? So them can assist in fixing the moral compass. I was on TikTok. Great space to be in TikTok. And the man saying go church in Portland and pastor run him out. Him say pastor say him too bad, because the pastor said, look to your neighbor and tell the neighbor, I want what happened to me to happen to you. And one man in the wheelchair, I said to him, I want what happened to me to happen to you. And him saying kick the wheelchair and the pastor run him out. The thing about it is only the positive things that happen in this life that you must want for people, because you don't want anybody to relive the negative space. These things only happen in Portland, mind you, because it's only in Portland you can go to church and the church welcome you. Anyway it come from, we send it back. And it's only in Portland a pastor will run you out if you're going like you're too bad. And don't worry about repercussions, because at the end of the day, that's why the crime is so low in Portland. Because at the end of the day, the crime is so low in Portland. Because at the end of the day, that's why the crime is so low in Portland. Because at the end of the day, the crime is so low in Portland. Because at the end of the day, the crime is so low in Portland. Because at the end of the day, the crime is so low in Portland. Because at the end of the day, the crime is so low in Portland. at some point everybody finds respect, even though them not slow with the disrespect, but it remains verbal. And that is the exact point that I'm getting at, is that while it is that people are spewing vitriol, the negativity, the hate, the self-hate, all of the things that come with using the internet to vent, I always look at it and realize that just like the people who have got me to have the has steered the conversation to where it is, because you come bright yourself the first day of the year, you come one try style the thing on my platform. Remember, you have many other platforms to go on, you don't have to be here. And the show being an international show streamed from Reggae Global Radio, and yes, it's YouTube, but the audience is diaspora. They're not dead down here. The people who watch are from the UK and the United States and Canada mostly. And we can get whole heap more people, but you see, because context matters, is an intellectual show. We don't just expect stragglers and streggers to just get up and come try to find context. They'll only take 10 seconds if it suits their narrative in the language that they are used to say, oh, look at him calling us stragglers and streggers and people of the dance hall when we're only carnival. The only thing inappropriate in life is the dance hall. I mean, has anybody checked on the DJs and the artists that are throwing? Has anybody missing a hammer out of their toolkit? Bounty Killer is very upset right now. And to the artists that are experiencing the vitriol that is coming from the God himself, Bounty Killer, yallow! I would just say, you have to just watch it, because the reality is it is entertainment. And as long as it stays on the wax, and as long as people appreciate that, although I am younger than all of them in the conversation, it's must hear that them doing because them not gray, or me one gray, or me one stress. You don't understand. But it's almost laughable to see people in their late 40s staring at 50s, like myself. I'm 47. To God be the glory. And you're reaching 50 and whatever, and instead of you worrying about your prostate and your heart and your mental health and everything that come with being old, your knee them a crack. You're worried about the disrespect rather than ensuring that dancehall reach a level where it's supposed to be. But at the end of the day, the irony, shout out as always to Rihanna, who have the music in a space where we know we can be billionaires without being disgusting. Shout out to Grace Jones, Shaggy, Sean Paul, and every other artist from the Vibes Cartel, Massacre, Coffee, Sizzler, big up Sizzler, 1 million music album. And when you start big up people, you can't stop, because that's the beauty of dancehall. Because you think you cannot big up them people there and don't big up Buju Banton. And notice that nobody can ever style Buju Banton from day one. If you know the history of dancehall, there has never been an artist to size up with Buju Banton. So while there was Shabba Ranks and Ninja Man, Bounty Killer, Beanie Man, Vibes Cartel and Movado, Buju was always in a space by himself. I can't take that away from people. But again, everybody over 50 now, and Gerital Complete is the vitamin of the day, and young people must be given a space to walk into their greatest as well. And so to the young kings that's doing their thing, keep being great, represent dancehall to the highest level. Nobody can stop you fans are for everybody. Just ask Tyler. America tries style her and she say, if you say you love me, put me in Chanel. Yeah. And she over Asia where there's more people with more money than in America. And they couldn't stop our swag. And soon they'll be begging Tyler to come back to the United States to tour. And she don't have to go. So the world, because of social media and in particular TikTok, has created a space that is so fascinating that there is room for everybody. I mean, Rosalie is a bigger star. I mean, literally, literally, figuratively, TikToktually, actually, than many people. Huge. I mean, Trump would be like huge. She's a huge star, and she don't have a record. She don't have a song. But she found her space. You understand? And I mean, Beyonce is irreplaceable. The Rose is saying, well, she needs somebody for love. So he won't do it. When the next one, Dave, the one where she out, Jake's. You remember the movie Jake and the Fat Man? Yeah. Well, you get the joke. Anyway, and so when you're talking about entertainment, there are just people that you just can't leave out the social space and understand that there is a space that is for everybody. And so because the field is for everybody, we should encourage people to flourish, recognize that the copycats will fade bigly, hugely. I'm telling you, because we have to stop the war. And if the people in dancehall don't appreciate that, Trump is going to have to intervene like he has intervened in Russia and Ukraine. Because we don't want people dying, you understand? We understand that bigly. And so, yeah, see the issue Kraft have with the promoter. Kraft is Kraft from Massacre's generation. As I mean, after the 50-year-olds or almost 50-year-olds, there is Massacre, and then there is Skilly Bang. Those are the persons. So, what's the issue? Somebody would have to bring me up to date with Kraft. Remember, me local, me don't really know what go on. And I haven't been to pantomime, so I don't know what Shibada is saying. I don't know who she's saying it about. He's saying it about, whatever. You understand? Yeah, I don't know. So you'd have to pick me. Sheen Goat. I don't know. Yeah. But I do know that Shensia won an election in St. Vincent. And I know that. I don't know. Sprague Benz took payment and no show. Yeah, but we don't know the facts, so we can't get onto. We don't know if there was a snowstorm. So, Kraft. Okay, that artist. Wine for me now, kind of cup for me now, kind of fat for me now. I don't know if that's the. Finna. Is that the person? Yeah, but you get the point. See, you laugh, so that means that's the person. That's the person. Somebody tell me yes, no. You laugh. Is it the person? Yes or no? Yeah. So I know Kraft them. I know a song. Finna, well, yeah. But you see, you have to be careful, because you might find yourself and say, itch, knee, san, chi, go, rook, sitch, hatch, cool, Joe. Don't test Nico boy, don't test. Stay in school, because I'm going to tell you this. You see, if you don't stay in school and follow the golden rule, you're going to suffer in a life, Because, let me tell you, oh my God. Leave that one alone. Shout out to Sean Storm. Find a space for himself. The biggest song of the year. Biggest song of the year come from Sean Storm. Who would have ever thought? Anyway. Somebody said, "Man, charge you 500,000. Listen, at 2026, scamming done. Then can't get away with them scam there again. That's a big ton. Yeah, tune. Yeah, big up. All right. So yeah, that is the reality that we have to look at. So let me tell you about some local issues. The Blue Lagoon in Portland is a space where, so I'm going to tell you just in case you don't know, because um, media, state media is not going to put this out. So I'm going to have a conversation with you real quick. Ringo don't watch Context Matters, so I'm not going to be on here. No, just appreciate this. Fix whose business, Donna, who for business you're talking about. Yeah, so in Portland, you have the Blue Lagoon. This is a space where the young men and women of Portland was able to make even $100,000 a day. This is not fanciful, because I can tell you, because they were making $100,000 a day. Government felt that they needed a piece of it. Um, law eyes. Yeah, that's my duty and my mission. 2026 is gonna show some greatness. But let me continue. And they were making an honest living. Um, Also, rafting on the Blue Lagoon was a big thing. If you don't believe me, just look on YouTube and look on the 1 million videos before the death of Dr. Bloomfield. Look at some of the biggest movies, including Blue Lagoon and Return to the Blue Lagoon, and you will see rafting on the Blue Lagoon. Even James Bond, you'll see activity in on the Blue Lagoon, and that's something that the tourists actually, they don't know, but when you watch a James Bond movie, when you watch what was the movie, Lord of the Flies? I think it was Lord of the Flies. When you watch Blue Lagoon, Return to the Blue Lagoon, Pirates of the Caribbean, um the many James Bond movies and many other movies. So you don't know, but even Trident, that hotel Trident, and that space, Sanko Bay, Frenchman's, Boston Beach, it's a belt. Sanko Bay, G Jam Beach, all of these places. You don't know, but they are featured in movies. So it's one of the places. Somebody said that is misinformation. Never there was the ordinary man making 100,000. Let me highlight this, because here comes Glenroy, who is nobody in life, that has come onto my page to say I'm spewing misinformation. And he says, how dare you say that the ordinary ghetto youth, the ordinary man, could ever make $100,000? Let me tell you something about the tourism now. You see, if I wasn't a politician and I wasn't a lawyer and I was just a mere renter dread, let me tell you something, Glenroy or whoever you is. In spaces like that, $100,000 is nothing to make. So what you should do is understand that there were persons that were making that. And in case you never know, tourists come there, and if 10 tourists give you $100, that's $160,000. So let me just make you understand that right now. Even today at the Pegasus, there's something called tipping. I can tell you, even today at the Pegasus, the servers, if 100 people are at the establishment and everybody gives you $2,000 for serving them as a part of the tip, 10% of whatever the bill is. Do you realize that's $200,000? I know Damien is not here. Damien is the maths brain, but sometimes a little calculator can help. But I must tell you this, there are people in this country that make a lot of money in the informal economy. It is just that because the two Jamaicas exist, two where they feel say you must you feel say somebody said, I did believe is Miss Vaz want to take it away. You did believe that? Oh my. Anyway, let's go because we see who is on there. Let me just ignore them right now. The people at the Blue Lagoon will make a lot of money from kayaking to rafting to the tours, sightseeing. Even I had a conversation with the Honorable Minister Babsy Grange, identifying persons working at the Blue Lagoon as being entertainment practitioners. People don't understand that the average person, any higgler down at the arcade or selling at the market downtown, is an entertainment practitioner. If you go to a market and you hear somebody say, nice fresh yellow yam, they're right here, so. And you turn around and instantly the entertainment from that, just talking about yellow yam, is entertainment. You're an entertainment practitioner. But because you don't dress up like Bounty Killer and you don't dip on the wax and you don't have the dub plate and you're not part of the alliance and then you bring out the Gaza, you bring out everything, them say you're not an entertainer? I think not, because social media has shown that there are many persons on TikTok that's more famous than the current entertainers. So it is that persons in the tourism industry are also entertainment practitioners. There are people who leave first world countries to return to the Blue Lagoon to see Ringo, to see other young people that's in the space, right? Right? So once you appreciate that, the next thing that you have to look at is how to nurture the space. Now, because we know it's two Jamaicas and we know, can you remind the people that the 28 are doing their best despite not holding the purse? I don't think the people are not concerned with the opposition. And rightly so. It is the government who is to be doing their jobs. And certainly when it comes to me, no, my mouth now gather water. And me can tell you, me now ask Christ, me no dunce. And no not going on that me can't ask questions about. Mr. Abrams tell me, say, ask questions you will learn by asking questions. And whether the people are capable or have the capacity to answer any question I ask or my colleagues them ask is not my concern. Right? When you are a PNP supporter, you have to tell lies. Now, people, let me explain something to you. There are persons on social media that don't work, that depend on government to survive. So they will come on your platform and they will trace you. And I'm going to mash down that lie. In 2026, I'm going to say to every Krasmite that comes on to the platform and try to be slick and try to spit vitriol in every society. Let's talk about a first world country, because Jamaica is a third world country. Let's talk about a first world country where it actually has an economy that's thriving and have money, Federal Reserve to back it. Let's talk about that. Them have the Republicans and them have the Democrats. So when it comes to politics, if a Labourite is saying PNP dunce, obviously you're a Labourite, you're not going to say anything good about PNP. So you're going to be in political, but this is context matters. This is an intellectual space that, notwithstanding, I can speak about both sides in the capacity of not being a politician. This is not a politician show. This is social media. In 2026, I'm absolutely not going to accept people being so slight-minded that they can't have conversations in the context of what we're talking about. And I don't think that it is fair for anybody to label every Labourite and every PNP as mindless idiots that just run around behind the parties. It's complete utter nonsense. That is why they were so upset at Portland, because they thought that they could make videos and spit lies, and when you're telling the truth, it's a problem. But I'm going to tell you this. I'm a grown man, 47, an intellectual, an independent, living, breathing human being. Don't size up with me. In 2026, know thy place, man. And don't hide behind fake accounts and come and be disrespectful. Because you don't know your history, and some of you, you're too young and you sell out. Yeah? Completely sell out. You don't have no substance, you don't have no soul, you don't have no pride, you don't have no dignity, you don't have no human rights, you don't have no concept of it. And you know, no, I'm not. This is the year I'm not blocking nobody. This is the year I'm going to remind you that the greatest mistake in life your mother ever make was to make your father breed her. You're the product of a turned condom. Do not come on Context Matters in 2026. We have set the stage today. Don't bright yourself. We're serious about that. Yeah? And having said that, this is why I'm going to tell you. And I invite all politicians to support education. I'm inviting them to ensure that the next generation is not as slight and empty as the current one. I don't know what went wrong. Yeah? And I'm gonna quote a dancehall artist. Wear your size, and if you not take ISAT advice, you might forget I for nam nam 1 for nam nam 2. Yeah? Wear your size. Don't size up. I'm done. I'll leave it right there, so. But again, it was just this week, and I'm just not gonna play the videos because I'm going on the word of the Honorable Minister about fixing the problem at Blue Lagoon. And I can tell you, you know, it's rough being black in this country, you know. It's even worse when you're poor and you're black. Yeah? So while it is, let me put it in context for you. The most beautiful thing on this earth is the darkest skin, the richest skin. Yeah? The richest skin. If them ever say the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice, understand when it comes to blackness. Yeah, you see, there's somebody say Portia's grandson, black like my grandfather, James Samuel's Portia's. So all them skinny and mongrel skin, this brown skin. And I know why people would want to bleach. And they told that lie and make people feel say when them have black skin is a problem. Yeah? Well, I can tell you the only thing that is good about genetics is that when your melanin in your brain, yeah, your blackness and your greatness comes from you, and you know thyself as a king and a queen on this earth. Mash down that lie. When me young, you know, them tell me say my mouth big like Lionel Richie, you know, and me live for come see them out shoot up Botox Every part of them, all them face, them put in Botox. And if them see my face right now, them say, yo, y'all get fat. But I don't need Botox. I don't need Botox in our lip. I don't need nothing. Yeah? I'm a sister. Nikki, big up yourself. Before J-Lo and before Cardi B and Spice put half a pound of batty in them batty, them used to tease my sister and say her batty big. Nikki, yeah. And me live for come see them a put in them something there. Forget BBL when my sister did born with it. And all of the women them where did born with it in Jamaica, them act like that shape was a problem. Yeah? And them used to tell me say my forehead big. And my Rihanna come turn billionaire with her big forehead. And everything that them say was wrong with people is everything that is right. So you see when you come on my life and show me say when you hate me, I know I'm doing something right. Because anytime I go somewhere and everybody like me, I know say something wrong. I have to check if my pocket open and not see my money. Yeah? And for all those who say the cartel money can't done, it can't done. As long as him out there make it can't done. Even though him not give me none. But whatever people have to say. So I learned that when people have a problem with your independence and your ability to be a free thinker, and they can't shut you down because they're not feeding you. And just like Justice Panton said, bring your own water so you don't become corrupt and poison like them. So fret not thyself. I don't eat from anybody. So if poison is your method, you not see me for poison me coming on yam from you. And I can say that right here. So me, I am bitter. Is something wrong with you? If I am bitter, it must be a conversation that's not including me. I am one of the most happiest persons on the face of this earth. Everything I have asked for, God has given to me, and I am trying to share that with people. That's why this context matters. That's why this context matters. It's called 2026, the year of the horse. Best versus worst. And there it is. I'm reading the comments today because it's comment reading time. Again, Glenroy says, I am upset because when a black man expresses himself, they say it is aggression. And if you say, oh dear, please don't do that, don't say he's a batty man. You see that? So if you're soft, is a problem. When you rise up like a lion, is a problem. And so if you follow them, you become the man and him donkey. Simple, simple, simple. And you just, if you ride the donkey, them say, look how you stray the donkey back, lift up the donkey. Wait, look on the idiot and lift up the donkey. No, put the rope around the donkey. And if you follow fool, you turn idiot. That's one thing. So let it be clear that let nobody dim your light. Let nobody reduce your capacity and your ability, because one of the most important things is that your work must speak for itself. And history will definitely vindicate many people, and that is one of the things that I learned. So you see, in my capacity of a member of parliament, where I am elected to speak about Blue Lagoon, how can a nobody come and say to me, I am spreading misinformation? They're not the elected official. They don't live there. They've never been there. Their house might have been blown away by Melissa. They are not the beneficiary of a trailer from the government, wherever they are from. And they come on Context Matters and are worried about issues in a parish that they have no interest in, but to spew misinformation because they are paid for that. Yeah? And they're the ones that say, Portland is okay. There is nothing wrong with Portland. Absolutely nothing. In fact, the garbage not picking up. You know why the garbage not picking up? Because they changed the MP, so there's no garbage picking up. Because that is a local government thing. And I'm not going to pick on Desmond because Desmond says one thing on Monday and he says another thing on a Wednesday. That's a matter for them. Right? But what is important? No, we know that already. You can't please everybody. And I can say this, for every Krasmite that has ever come on my platform to be disrespectful, there are thousands of persons that are saying to me, continue doing what I'm doing. I'm only raising the issue again that at the Blue Lagoon, which is a space that is ripe for local progress, inclusion of the local people to the economy that Blue Lagoon has to offer. Right? Just understand that. That is what I'm talking about. So unlike other spaces where it's only helper work and gardener work that them have for the Jamaican people, we're moving away from that. And you cannot take from the people a space where they are allowed to make money, right? A space where they're allowed to play, so they said, why the people always voting leaders that have no vision to govern a country? And somebody says, because you are rich, that's why you can talk how you talk. I am rich in knowledge. I am rich in the love of God. But everybody in Jamaica broke and no money. Don't follow social media. I see Michael Leachin say I give up NCB because he can't find 95 million US dollar. So don't make richness frighten you. Cash is fluid here. Just let me explain that to you. But anyway, what people have to understand, is there a deliberate effort to keep the majority of Jamaicans poor and uneducated? That question will be answered right after the break when we return. This is Reggae Global Radio. You're tuned into Context Matters 2026. Stay tuned. You're live.
That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. No, I heard them say life much better you live it your own way. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. No, I heard them say life much better you live it your own way.
Aware that this house is a house of record. That you are well aware that this house is a house of record. Now, for clarity, several things were said about what the $150 million would do. Today, I heard that it would restore the 150 would light be I'm not going to say light after light. I'm not asking that, please. It would certainly restore energy by February. But
end of January, in the middle of February, end of January. Let me extend it that far. But however, that does not account for the remaining sums. So you have said that you have granted the loan simply for the restoration, but to what quantity? To what amount?
Well, you heard the Minister of Energy just recently.
No, I actually, as I said, Madam Minister, this is a house of record. The minister made no statement on any mic or anything that was recorded.
Okay, so let me repeat what I heard the minister said, and that he said, and he said it several times in Parliament and outside of Parliament, that the 150 million is dedicated towards restoration of electricity across the island by
I'm asking.
what did he say? Right, by January 2026.
All right, but Madam Minister, Madam Minister, the question is about whether you satisfied yourself. So I'm asking because when the minister spoke in this parliament, he indicated that the 150 would have been to restore light in general areas as fast as possible. That was what was said. This is a house of record. And I'm challenging anybody to correct me on that, because those were the statements that was made. And so the question, my simple question is whether or not you satisfied yourself as to what exactly the 150 million is for, because it is your ministry that has distributed that loan. So that is what is of importance, and I'm asking for a response on that.
And so, member, we did satisfy ourselves. Just to answer your question.
Thank you for that. My final question. Your projection of 68.2% of your GDP. Can you say what is the reality of our GDP now? Your assessment for you to make the projection. Yes.
So our projection for GDP growth by the time we end this fiscal year is that we would see a decline of 4.3% by the end of this fiscal year.
We are back on Context Matters. The date is January 1st, 2026. You're tuned into Reggae Global Radio. And for those who are watching on YouTube and TikTok, you're in the second hour. Welcome back. We are live. Anyway, so the question asked was, well, everybody had talk about dementia. I saw comment on the video, but somebody had asked a question as to whether, see there, feel like me I turn the minister now, dementia set in. The question was asked if they are deliberately keeping Jamaicans poor. So society is structured to ensure that there are dependents. We're not exactly Singapore, although Singapore took its model from Jamaica, but that was at a time when Michael Manley was the prime minister of this country, and there was actually leadership through vision. Vision being vision for the people, not infrastructure that people think that infrastructure determines the quality of life that the people live. Remember, there was a time when you had ambitions of buying a house in Portmore. You could have spent $1 million and $2 million and $3 million to get one of the houses them in a greater Portmore. No, if you don't have $20 million, you can't buy no house. And what it is that people don't understand is that Jamaica has regressed in such a way that it's normal. It's normal to celebrate when the dollar goes below 160 and frown when it reached 161, 162, 163. But the reality is some 10 years ago, the dollar was way less than that. Not to mention in 2008, the dollar was below 100, and it was almost devastating to believe that the dollar could go, oh my God, the dollar worse than get to 100. Jamaica was going to where Guyana was. But anyway, I just want people to understand that all countries all over the world, majority of its citizens are poor, even in first world countries. And there is a difference between living and living a quality of life. Surviving is not living. Waking up and inhale and exhale is not living a quality of life. The vicissitudes of life is what persons are to strive for. Appreciate that in 2026 it's about $600,000 to $650,000 a month that the individual has to make to be considered a human being on the Human Rights Economic Index, if there is such a thing. When people appreciate this is why them bad mind all of the artists them and them always try lock them up and try mash up them life, because it's bitter blood to know that you're working hard and you still have to work 9 to 5. Just what a way to make a living and work hard every day and not now go on for your life, and you can't buy a Pro Box, and you can't pay your rent, and you have to choose between Domino's ice cream and Wendy's and Church's chicken and Chick-fil-A and Popeye's chicken and KFC and Kentucky. You have to decide where you want, and then for buy data every minute, it rough. Yeah. But don't get it wrong. There are still places in America where the people them still have pit latrine out. Them call it outhousing. Just like how in Jamaica they are now introducing trailer park living, trailer trash living, a cultural reality, a type of living that festers incest and all kind of backward behavior. And they want that now for Jamaica. Well, so it is that people will induce poverty and increase poverty. Well, there was a time when people did want R7 and R6 bike and Kawasaki and Ninja. In the 70s was S90, and then them stay up to the big bike them. All of a sudden, everybody and them mother want a yang yang, zeng zeng, vroom vroom, zoom zoom, Chinese, Indian looking bike. The heights of poverty and poorness. And so much so that the police them don't have no problem taking them up and stripping them and taking off the parts and harassing the young man that's trying to be progressive. Them take it away from them and treat it like nothing, because they understand that it is the poor man's vehicle. So nothing will come of it. It's so poor that when you take it away, it's cheaper to go get another one. Somebody says Suzuki 50, all of them something there. And so they bring down the quality. Now after the hurricane, the response is to put people in trailers. And people are celebrating. Everybody wants a little trailer so they can get a house spot. But we don't talk about minerals and the fact that there's a high density of quality of minerals under the earth in the spaces where the hurricane dig up. Let me put it that way. And so If the people are displaced from the land, you know, a different form of development can happen. And that these things are of utmost importance. So knowledge is power. So while people distract and people curse and people talk about foolishness, we are to stick to what the issues are, because remember, you know, it's the year of the hearts, new beginnings, elevation, you know, the type of motivation that you need to make your life better and for you to want what's better for your brothers and sisters. If there's anybody in this country, and even if you're not in this country but you're from Jamaica and you don't want what's best for the least among us, you're just a wicked. If you don't want to see your brothers and sisters strive to the point where was it the lady yesterday when they wanted to close the Petersfield shelter, the lady cussed up a whole heap of bad word. I won't repeat because I don't have $500,000, and I'm sure it would be unbecoming of an attorney to repeat what was said, especially when you're not in a courtroom and there's no statement that's given. But she did cuss and say people bad mind and they must go because the people them not have nowhere to live and them not have nowhere to go. And you can't displace them. You can't just give them, big up yourself, power of God, later to you. You can't just expect people to at the whim get up and move and the proper things aren't put in place. Especially when you had ample time, you had 90 days to make accommodations for people, prospective thinking to ensure that people transition with what is actually human dignity, with what is actually respect for constitutional rights. And the balance between access to education and basic human dignity is a rough one. No right is absolute, you know. No right is absolute, but at the end of the day, nobody must feel like dog shit. Nobody must feel like nothing. Nobody must feel like nobody at the end of interaction with the state. And if we talk about horizontal application of constitutional rights, if you respect your brothers and sisters in such a way, if you respect your brothers and sisters in such a way, then you would never want to disenfranchise your brothers and sisters. And listen, if Jamaica is for everybody, we little but we tolerate, but we also must find a model that works, that once people feel like a human being, they'll start to live, breathe, and exist like human beings. So I don't appreciate the disconnect. Safe to say that, yeah, there are people that feel good when people are impoverished, right? Somebody said, where is the GoFundMe money that the PNP collected, and tell us how you are helping the people? I invite, and let me call the person, I invite Jermaine Brown to go to Portland and ask that. You're not a journalist. You don't have no education. You never go to school to come question me. Jermaine, you're not a lawyer. You don't have the capacity to ask me no question, to try to distract. This is the year that I'm going to answer you. Who are you? What is your purpose? Go and do investigative journalism and find out all that I have done and am doing. Don't come on social media and sound like a jackass. Yeah? Go find out and come back and tell the people and tell Gleaner and Observer and make them publish it. Don't come here and be asinine on my platform, not in 2026. Who are you to question me? No Krasmite on this platform. So again, poverty is something that government is happy about all over the world because it keeps the people wanting. Yeah? Not saying that this Jamaican government is doing it now, but it's a system. So it is that if you compare how it is that certainly in my generation, the dumbest child in any school in Jamaica in the 1980s would be the brightest child in America. How did we start to leave children behind in Jamaica? And yes, as 2026 has entered, I am going to reinstate the tablet drive. And it is a private initiative because we are not government. But one monkey can't stop no show. Dancehall can't stall. So I will be issuing out tablets again in 2026 to ensure that the children are learning in the 21st century, that they are experiencing technological learning. See, we reach an AI that people come from my life and say AI a keep, so we no business say you're bright. We don't need brightness no more. Yeah? So when people ask, what am I doing? I can dance, but I'm not dancing, I'm working. Yeah? So just remember that the next time you want to come on my live and try to style. And for anybody that asks questions about GoFundMe, GoFundMe has public record. You can see who donate in real time. In fact, you can go click on my GoFundMe now and donate something so we can know if you're broke and hungry and bad mind or you want to do something to help the people. That's what we should know. And go ask the people of Portland how many of them were given grants, small business grants and all of these things. That happened this year. Ask the children, over 500 that showed up for a Christmas treat. But because I know the right to privacy and constitutionality, I'm not frightened, and I'm not going to publish children on websites and the internet without permission of their parents. We are not the same. They're not like us. They're not like me. Yeah? So while you continue to do your songs in A minor, yeah, there's a law for that. Under the age of 16. Know yourself. Bright and feisty. Anyway, so that is the focus. And so this is not politics time now. So I'm going to just share with you my position. I have the greatest respect for the government as constituted right now, led by Andrew Holness. And whether do I agree with all his decisions? Absolutely not. That's why I'm not a Labourite. But because government includes parliamentarians in terms of the whole governance structure, if you understand the Westminster system, which is what we have in Jamaica, except constitutional supremacy is what is the guiding force, then one would appreciate that, of course, the ministers who have the final say, you engage and interact with them. And of course, they're going to be political in their decisions. And of course, they're going to take care of their people first. A part of mediation, negotiation, and inclusion is to have cordial, formal, and meaningful interactions with all persons in Parliament to ensure that the citizens are not left out. I wish people would understand that, but you need to have a certain amount of appreciation for human interaction that doesn't include tearing down people to understand that. So I use this all the time. That's why we say it, we hope for the best and don't include the worst in our narratives. So when people are being divisive, promoting division between government members and opposition members when it is not political time, we're not voting on issues in Parliament, There's not an election going on. And if one side is campaigning, I certainly am not campaigning. I'm too busy trying to fix the issues that were not touched before I became the member of parliament. Issues simple as making sure people have water to bathe. Something big is coming. And when it happens, people are going to run off their mouth. But there's a fix for that. It's called toothbrush and Colgate with a little pure water to wash it down. Yeah. Yes. You can inbox me. I will check it as soon as the show is done. And so that is just one part of it. We must unite to ensure that people are not disenfranchised. You must not use the political landscape to segregate, to criticize, to tear down any activity that is for the people. Right? So the Prime Adrian Enriquez, the Prime Minister, has made it absolutely clear. Central government is responsible for roads. Members of parliament have never been responsible for roads. When you see a member of parliament taking credit for road work that is done, they are playing politics, they are liars, they are vampires, they are deceivers, they are wicked. Government is responsible for road. And yes, even though there is road advocacy, the final say about roads is coming from central government. If a member of parliament has to campaign on roads, they're literally telling you them no work nothing and them not doing nothing in life. The social issues such as housing, water, yeah, the basic physical needs, food, clothes, and shelter is what the MP must advocate for, because this member of parliament, Isaac Buchanan, certainly is concerned about human dignity, about human rights. And so the economic viability of the Jamaican citizen is his and her ability to be independent economically can only be my concern, because people who are spitting the narratives about roads only want roads to go where? On a trailer? That's no hope that the prime minister will give a trailer. Just answer that. If that is the life you want for your brothers and sisters in 2026. And no, a reclassification and a renaming, calling a trailer prefab doesn't change the fact that it is a trailer. There has been a historical culture in America about trailer trash living, trailer park living, and they don't like the idea. It is defamatory, it is derogatory, it is everything that is bad. White America looked down on trailer trash. To introduce that in a third world country where you're already born as a Afro-Caribbean human being, even though we say out of many one, with zero prospects of success unless you turn an entertainer. Unless you're a dancehall queen or a dancehall king. Nothing else not there for you. Oh, my bad. Hopefully you can run up and down. I'm not even gonna get to that. Yeah. So one has to look at that and appreciate that. And remember, context matters is the platform for critical thinking. It is not a space for the mentally incapable unless you're here to try to correct some of your deficiencies. And while I say context matters, there are those that says context is king, which is quite sexist because context can be queen as well. But it must matter, because if you're a king without a kingdom, your context no matter. Just ask Massacre. Yeah? And you have to always put it in, context, but I don't want Zamba bust out a laugh, so I'm not going to say it. Oh my God. Yeah. Let me leave that one alone. I'm so tempted though. Yo, if Tupac was here, you'd say, first of all, and I quit the claim, West Side, you claim to be a player, but yep. Yeah, anyway, let me leave that one alone. Yeah, so these days, I look forward to Parliament reopening. There's a lot of questions to ask in terms of the efforts and the relief efforts. You know, food security will always be an issue. We have gone to a space where, you know, many things happening. I don't need to revisit SSL. I don't need to be an advocate for Bolt's money and Bolt make a lot of money. For those who were a part of it, a part of the affluent society who was investing in that space, their friends and their colleagues tricked them. Being charged with regulatory offenses is offensive. One wonders, but again, that's a two Jamaica issue. So I'm leaving that one alone. What I will say though is the toy gun issue is an issue that has to be dealt with by that the Constitutional Court is going to have to tackle. I intend to raise it in the Parliament to show how nonsensical and idiotic it was to cut and piece legislation that has now criminalized progressive individual in an attempt to fight crime. And it's not fighting crime. In fact, the Commissioner of Police will tell you, if you want to fight crime, just kill off the young youth them and make them afraid and make them know, so if them go out and commit crime, them are dead. If you look like a criminal, you are dead. That is the method of policing. In fact, the police have increased that. They are now going to the houses of baby mothers and wives and family members who to let them know that they want to kill their sons and sometimes their daughters. And then they put pictures up on the internet and then they make captions like, oh, we did a couple raids today and it results in one arrest, knowing that they went to law-abiding citizens' home, search their homes, sexually assault the women, male officers groping, touching on the breasts, touching vaginas, bottom, pushing them down, groping them on the wall, putting their crotch against their crotch, and then calling female officers to pacify the situation with intimidation, and then posting the house of the victim and saying they searched and made arrests when nothing of the sort happened. You see, these are the kind of things that in 2026 we have to kind of curtail, especially the irresponsible use of social media. Right? We have to always try to find and strike the balance. And yes, we know that there is always recourse, and these days people just get murdered and then they say Indicom is investigating and flash it off, or you use authority and sexually violate somebody and then say, but it can be investigated, whether it be by iProbe, right? And when we look at that, somebody said they believe that the actual murder rate is 976 and not 667, when you factor in police killings. But my response to that is police killings was high last year as well, not as high as this, and we didn't factor it in, and the murder rate was high. And yeah, I mean, I look at it, because you don't have to use gun. This is 2026. The youths them can put down the gun. You can't be so retarded that you need a gun to be bad. If you feel like you're a bad man, you don't need the gun. It's really some cowardice people that them spinal, them brain, them spine fluid not running in them brain, why them feel it necessary to use gun to take life when life is so sacred. So as much as you're defending, remember, the extrajudicial killing that I am defending is the innocent people that are murdered. Those who challenge the police and end up unalived is a consequence of them challenging the police. I am not speaking for them. I'm speaking for the ones who the police get up to go and murder. It's caught on camera, and then all of a sudden they said, oh, they must be prosecuted only because it was caught on camera. And so the conversations about body cameras are necessary, and the use of it, the regulation, how you feel about it. Just understand, anything that I'm talking about is respect for the Constitution, the human rights of the citizens of this country, appreciating that the presumption of innocence is a sacred protection given by the Constitution that's being eroded. I'm concerned that there are many persons who are put in power, and one wonders if the power that they're wielding is just too much for them. So it has become abusive. These are just concerns from a constitutional perspective, but it takes context for people to have the conversation about it, because murder could never be right. So seeing the murder rate, as if Henriquez is right, ending at 667, could have ended at 666, because bear demon in other country, some wicked people that just feel like some of them can't even make life, but them happy to take life. And even when they make it, they can't maintain it and develop and nurture it. Right? Yeah. So it's a balancing conversation, but as long as you have extremists that want to hold on to narratives that are not real, they're the worst of the worst. And there was a time when hurt people, but enough people hurt me, I mean I hurt back nobody. There are two responses on the psychological spectrum, and Sigmund Freud, whether he was an extremist or not, spoke about flight or fright and all of the complexes that come with it. Sometimes hurt people are there to ensure that nobody else get hurt, and hurt people also protect people. So we can't paint with a broad brush. All deportees are worthless. Everybody who is have a conviction is not a violent criminal. And we have these conversations, and we must deal with them in its proper context. We must create spaces that will allow for sexual abuse of minors, women and children, and even boys. and then say and then shout out statistics that there is now an uptick in this type of crime and we must whatever. Because I hear it. There's a man in Portland. They said him raped once, had 2 cases, and he was allowed to just move around, and nobody was watching him. And they said allegedly that him rape again, and him confront the police, and them kill him. Now, if you're in the business of sexually assaulting women and taking their vaginas, I don't know when you became a murderer. And there is no correlation between sexual offenses and murder unless you're a serial killer. So when did police confrontation for a rapist result in the death of the accused? Because sexual violence does not equate to murder. There's nothing in criminology that says somebody that has an appetite for sexual indiscretion is a murderer. But in Jamaica, the new narrative is if you're rape or you're a pedophile, you're also a murderer that is confronted by the police. And so you should die. We're just putting it in context because it also means that persons who repetitively steal akis and goats also should be murdered. And I thought we were far, far miles away from Moses' law that if we believe in the right to life and our justice system works, and it does. Because there are people who are wrongfully convicted and their convictions are overturned. There are also people who are murderers and convictions are overturned by technicalities because police officers are also not operating above boards. And persons in places that ought to know better breach constitutional rights, and at the end of the day, they lose convictions because of that. And nobody's blaming that. Nobody's looking at where the moral compass is kind of the decay in societies because people won't do the right thing. Integrity is doing the right thing when nobody is watching. But instead, we have administrative regulation that may very well be breaching the Constitution because people want things to appear to be, and so you wake up and hear you're a criminal even when you're not a criminal, while the criminals get to criminalize. So, I mean, who am I to talk? If you listen to me, you just may very be a criminal. After all, you know how that go. If you put it in the context or take it out of context. But I just want people to, I want to set the stage for a very progressive year, a year filled with expectations anchored on God. And what do I mean by that? If anybody is looking to Dr. Andrew Holness to rescue Jamaica from Melissa, it's not going to happen. No one man is capable of undoing act of God, an act of God that was done to uncover the deficiencies in Jamaica. The response following Hurricane Melissa reminds us of the importance of the culture of Jamaica to the people across the world. People all over the world would have donated extraordinary amounts of money to ensure that the people would have been helped. That money hasn't been spent to date, and people are proud of the fact that that money has not been used for its intended purpose to date. And they come and ask questions. But also the delay defeats equity. That is a cardinal rule in equitable remedies. Delay defeats equity. And so rather than criticizing everything, we look to the opportunities to ensure that the greater good, the utilitarian concept, the greater good for the greater numbers. If we're not operating on a utilitarian basis, persons are going to absolutely feel the effects of Hurricane Melissa. And it's coming. The government has rightly extended the barrel donation coming into the country until the 15th of January. It is, I am of the view that it should go until the financial year closes, so March 31st. That is my view. So that people who know have the dust has settled and people understand that there are spaces in Portland, Eastern and Western, St. Mary and St. Thomas, St. Catherine, St. Andrew, rural St. Andrew, Mavis Bank and all of them places there, up in the hills and valleys, St. Catherine, that have been devastated by the hurricane, and those people also need their roofs rebuilt. And this constant PR moving and talking about, oh, thank you for donating the roofs and for doing this and this. Fix the people them roofs so the people them can go back into them house and make them tell you thanks. This PR business has nothing to do with the quality of life that people need to live. And there are people who were not living in a quality of life before the hurricane. What are we doing to ensure that on a remedies basis, equitable remedies, that we put people in a position better than they were before? Because we have the opportunity to do so. And we had institutions created by Michael Manley and the People's National Party. I can be political about it. NHT. Yeah? NIS. All of these things to ensure, right? Wow, got on time. No wonder rough. So some of these Jamaican people make me hate Jamaica from the bottom of my heart. But that is not an energy that we're going to take on in 2026. Because you see, if you love Jamaica, you want what's best for Jamaica. So we hope for the best so that the worst is not a factor. It will not happen. So those who want the worst for Jamaicans, may I rebuke that? May I send it back anywhere it come from? The worst will not happen. And whether government does it or not, the resilience of the diaspora and the charity that is in the world, it's going to reach to Jamaicans. And if Jamaica is for the PR people and for the upper echelons of society, then they will fix Jamaica. But if you are for the Jamaicans, that's the living, breathing life of Jamaica, the human product, the human potential and capacity, then you're going to have to make sure that the Jamaicans are okay. And so, no, I'm not going to talk about GoFundMe today and all of that. I'm just saying in 2026, we are setting the stage to ensure that we do that which is necessary to make sure that people are okay. And so, yes, to my farmers in Portland Eastern, we have work to do with potato. For those of you who receive your fertilizer, you told me thanks. Big up yourself. For those of you who are still waiting on your chicken and your and all of these things, it is to happen right now as we speak, and I will be engaging through my office. And let me tell you again, let me take this opportunity in 2026. You see, my office is for the people of Portland Eastern. And 1 and 2 times the people from the West, them come and them advocate good for themselves. So you have to help them and bless them because them representation is lacking. Anyway, but we do understand what the political lines are. I cheap shot. When nobody tell Vaz to come trace me, it was context. I was just showing where. Anyway, but the reality is that in 2026, we're going to really, really remove the emotions and get the knowledge to access the benefits that's for the people of Portland Eastern. And if it comes from the diaspora, it is yours. If it comes from the government, it is yours. None of it is mine. I'm a mere conduit to ensure that whatever it is that you are to receive, you're going to get it. God has blessed me, and you have chosen me, and that's what I am here for you. So just making that quite clear, right? And yeah, I am on the winning side. And here, Greens, the irony, Greens. I am on the winning side. I'm on the side that the people chose. I'm on the people's side. And hey, if the green side is for the people, we're on the same side. It is those who see color. Remember, election is only election time. The political divide. Election nice, you know. You know how much people tell me what I'm going to do with my mother? Them even tell me say my mother is my sister and my father clearly slept with his daughter according to them. Yeah? So when you're in the politics nice, is tear down season, but that season is gone. In fact, hurricane season erased that, and quick we had to come together and have the conversations that's necessary to uplift the people. One of the realities that I faced last year, which was just Sunday of this week, is going to all of these funerals and these 9 nights and these dead yards. Like people was like, I'm just not going into 2026. So if you're here, even if you're on the internet cussing me, I'm glad you're alive. And I'm glad you're alive to see the greatness that is coming to Jamaica, to the people of Portland Eastern and the rest of Jamaica. I'm glad that you're there to see the journey that the year of the horse is going to bring. I'm glad that you made it. And if you're here for a purpose. Right? And if you are here, you're here for a purpose. And for those of you who like conspiracy theories, use Google. Understand what the word conspiracy means and what theory means, and how you go about proving by deducing or inducing, inductive reasoning or deductive reasoning, right? How you prove and disprove these theories, right? These are some of the things that we need to get to. So again, we are in the year 2026. I'm saying Happy New Year to everybody. Wishing all the best for everybody. Let me show you how me wishing the best and greatness for Jamaica. I'm wishing the best for the government of Jamaica and praying that God will put on their hearts love, humanity, affection, compassion, empathy, focus, ability, intelligence, capacity, yeah, context and critical thinking to execute in a way that the vision of Jamaica and the future of Jamaica is so much brighter. I have no negative words for none of the members of parliament and employees of parliament and government and anywhere them is, and injecting pure ability in the leaders of this country to bring the people of Jamaica into the realm of humanity. So people will wake up and say, I'm a living, breathing human being. I matter. And it means that my brothers and sisters, my neighbors and my friends matter as well. And that by the end of 2026, people will be saying, I am Jamaica. I am Jamaican. I matter. Jamaicans matter. Life matters. and we're living to ensure that Jamaica is better. That is all I'm going to say about Jamaica 2026. I look forward to all of the greatness. No bad vibes around here. No negativity. And I'm putting you on warning right now. You may have to write to the GLC and the PNP and the Parliament. If you come on my live and you try diss me, I'm going to diss you. Yeah? Diss you. Bad. And to Jerry that said him never see me with a woman. Jerry wants to come into my bedroom so he can see me with my woman. So he can trust me. Because Jerry, see there, Jerry on TikTok wants to trust a man that he can go to his bedroom when he's with his woman. That's the trust he wants in his leader. That's Jerry. Guys, say hi to Jerry. Jerry said he's never seen me with my woman because he wants to come into my bedroom with my woman so he can trust me. Jerry wants to see my penis and my woman's vagina so he can trust me. That's the closeness Jerry wants with his leader. Big up Jerry. Jerry is looking a man in 2026. Blessings to Jerry. Yeah. So anyway, say hi to everybody. Pause and say hi to Jerry. Jerry loves Isaac. He wants to come into Isaac's bedroom with his woman. He says he's never seen me with my woman. So he doesn't trust me. He wants close relations so he can trust me. Jerry is not a registered voter in Portland, but Jerry wants to trust me, Isaac. You understand? Good. So everybody, so wherever you are, 2026, Happy New Year. Let's clap for Jerry. And there are several churches Jerry can go. So he can do it on a Saturday as a 7-day Adventist or a Sunday. But what Jerry needs is not Isaac. He needs Jesus. Tell Jerry, try Jesus. Don't try me. All right. Bye, Jerry. So anyway, just look forward to greatness. And big up, because on the top of the screen, I take me to the 100. I'm going to think of the 50K me to reach. Yeah. So tell somebody, this is an Allstate. This is an ICWI. This is not Highway 2000. Stay in your MF lane. Try Jesus. Don't try me. Anyway. So, to my friends, I don't think I need to comment on the video that I played at the top of the hour. Yes? I don't need to comment on it. We have a minister of finance who has graduated in that area. She was a horrible education minister. In fact, I think one of the reasons why the picnic them so don't is because she was a minister of education at one point. But I don't know. What I will say though is praying that she finds her way so that the Honorable Julian Robinson will not have to lose his patience with the level of inadequacies and inability to size up with him. But I'm not going to touch that topic because the show kind of done. So everybody, you know, I tell you, you just know it's going to be an exciting year. Yeah. you just know it. I feel it. I feel it that it's gonna be an exciting year. Yeah. So anyway, oh Zamba, you there? Mr. Never says Zamba, bless you up. Yeah, people, only need to go sell Zamba some money and top up the GoFundMe and do all of those things. Next week, may I run back my fundraiser. But I must tell you, when I launch it, charity has been very kind. In terms of looking forward. Portland Eastern, and not gonna smile with me. So although in 2026, we now big up Miss Cherry. Miss Cherry, we now big you up in 2026. I'm telling you that now. Rest in peace, Paulette. We're very, very, very sorry of your untimely passing. But Portland Eastern, and are gonna smile. Big things coming. And at the launch and the opening of the various initiatives. Listen, man, we're going into the deep, all right? But anybody in 2026, if you want to see Cherry before me, just make Cherry know. So we don't want the Arizona from Cherry. I don't know, say Cherry rhyme with Jerry. Some feel say a cherry come by my life as Jerry. So Cherry, try Jesus, don't try me. big up Ginger House, Comfort Castle and Millbank. Yeah. But anyway, we're at the top of the hour. Thank you so much for watching the first Context Matters for 2026. Yeah, we know how it go already. For all of you who came by, you could be anywhere else, but you chose to be here with me and spend your Thursday evening to listen to the monologue. I promise you, I'm gonna open the lines and we'll have meaningful conversations. But you know, I must say this. I'm gonna take the 1 minute to say this. Mark Jefferson Golden is a visionary. When my book is published, you will understand more. Big up Mark Jefferson Golden, the leader of the People's National Party, who gave Isaac Buchanan the chance to represent the people of Portland. And that is a great feat because it came with a lot of backlash. Why for the backlash? But I will say this: when you are a visionary, your duty is to find the best, give the best people the opportunity. If Jamaica is going to be a great country that advances the people. And it's only until you go America and England and see what it is to be great outside of the kingdom that you are a part of that you will appreciate. So I had to take that 1 minute to say 2026, big up Mark Golden. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, this was Context Matters. And next week, listen up, don't the January money. Because next week, I'm telling you for top up and support the initiatives. Because I drop prefab trailers for storage for all of the things for the giveaways to the people of Portland. Portland Eastern, I say on a good again. You hear me? If when the thing said dancing was a thing, I say I'll be here dancing in a 2026. So the people of Portland Eastern. And we don't care if you are labor right or what they say you are. We are one Portland Eastern, us against them. And yeah, for those who say we're ungrateful, just remember they not like us. We know the language. 2026 and beyond. Blessings, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you were tuned in to Reggae Global Radio, that's the show. Signing off. Blessings to you. Goodbye. And if you're on TikTok, continue to tap up the screen and share the live. That's what we do. And for those of you on YouTube, I see you guys next week. You're tuned into Context matters. Big up Zambo, my brother. You know, you say me always love you, you know, bring my iPhone and bring my present there, but we still love you. Me have you up still, you know. I've been carrying that from 2025. When you getting on the plane and bringing my stuff, my bro. Anyway.
Ain't just a phase, it's reality. And sometimes it's hard to face the world with your head screwed on. But in time you will see it comes naturally, like the hurt and the pain. It's a part of the game. It's all a part of life, to laugh and to cry. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. No, I heard them say life much better, you live it your own way. But if you need a helping hand, just call on me, I will be your friend. And when it gets hard to face the world with your head screwed on, just tell yourself you can. And that's when you'll understand that the hurt and the pain, it's a part of the game. It's all a part of life, to laugh and to cry. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. You gotta keep on moving on. Don't let no one stand in your way. Gotta keep on pressing on. As we pray for better days, keep it moving to the next. When they try to bring you down, we gotta take it to the next level when they come around. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. Just keep your head up, yeah. Just keep your head up, yeah. Gotta keep your head up, yeah. 'Cause everything's gonna be alright.